Hello, and welcome to our series, A Minute with Psychology. Today we're taking a closer look at classical conditioning. Our topics will include how we learn, the 3 types of learning, classical conditioning, and the 4 steps of classical conditioning. A memory is created when something is learned. And we learn by a single exposure to something, by being exposed to things several times. But these things can include our experiences and our actions. So learning is a change in behavior resulting from experience. There are 3 types of learning. There's non-associative learning, associative learning, and learning by watching others. Non-associative learning can include habituation, sensitization. Associative learning includes classical conditioning and operant conditioning. And learning by watching others includes observational learning, modeling, and vicarious conditioning. We're going to be talking about a form of associative learning today. So Ivan Pavlov won the Nobel Prize for his research, was doing his research on the digestive system. And while he was doing this research, he observed that his dogs began to salivate as soon as they saw bowls of food. He knew that this was not an automatic thing, that this is not a behavior that was already taking place, that this behavior had to be acquired by association. There was a bell that was also in the lab, and that bell rang every time food was presented, and perhaps that was how the dogs developed that association. So Pavlov wanted to test this for himself, and he did. His experiments revealed that there were 4 steps to classical conditioning. The first step begins with a stimulus that would naturally elicit the response. So food is the example of that. And he called this the unconditioned stimulus, a stimulus that would naturally elicit the response without any prior learning. The unconditioned response is a response that does not have to be learned, such as a reflex. Step 2 is where the neutral stimulus is presented. The neutral stimulus is anything that is not previously associated with the unconditioned response. In this case, he was using a metronome. Step 3 involves the conditioning trials, the beginning of conditioning or the start of learning. The neutral stimulus is paired together with the unconditioned stimulus. The dog begins to associate the neutral stimulus with the unconditioned stimulus. In this case, the metronome with the food or the bell with the food. And the neutral stimulus is now considered the conditioned stimulus. That behavior has now been acquired. Acquisition takes place during step 3. With step 4, this is where the critical trials also take place. The association is learned. So we have the conditioned stimulus now and the conditioned response. The conditioned stimulus, again, it elicits a response only after learning has taken place. With the conditioned response, a response to that stimulus has been learned. So what this means is you can ring the bell or the metronome by itself without the food, and that dog will begin to salivate. You can practice with Ivan yourself, one of Pavlov's dog, in this nice dog game where you can ring a bell and teach little Ivan here how to drool. A wonderful way to practice classical conditioning. For more information, send an email to erica.king@purdueglobal.edu.